Hello, Las Vegas, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Golf at the Park, Angel Park Golf Club's weekly interview show. We really appreciate you tuning in. Right off the top, we want to tell you a couple things. We'd really like to ask you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's going to be able to get you more of our updated content easier. There's a few hundred of you watching already, so tell your friends and let's get those numbers up. We'd really appreciate it. One more thing, we're running a current promotion here at Angel Park called Nights at Night. And if you come out to play night golf, anything, if you're on the putting course, driving range, or playing Cloud 9 at night, wear or bring Vegas Night, Golden Knights merch, clothing, you'll get entered to win in a raffle to win a free custom jersey at the end of the season from Angel Park. So remember to do that. And without further ado, I'd like to invite our first non-employee to the show, Big Matt Nolasco. Matt, thanks for joining us.
How's it going, man?
Really
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Matt's story is really fun and long and local. So we're excited to get started. And let's just start with how you got introduced to the game.
I mean, I was introduced to the game at the age of 5. My family was not a blended family, but where I met my dad at 5 years old, and his dream was to have a son that played golf. And
so stepdad came in and
yeah. So he brought me out to the golf course, and I was a baseball player. I mean, even at 5, I just loved playing sports. So I guess I had good hand-eye coordination and hit the ball, and it was really fun to do that. So he kept bringing me out, and we continued to play and enjoy the game.
So you started at 5.
Yes. So I mean,
just some cut down clubs and.
Actually, no. When I started playing golf, well, they didn't have that type of stuff. I didn't get my real first set of clubs until I was much older. But all this U.S. kids stuff and everything that's so prevalent now. I mean, it really does a great job of developing these young players' swings. But I didn't have that advantage. So.
Right. So you're starting early, and then are you playing all the way through until junior high school?
Yeah, so I was a very active kid. I played a lot of sports growing up, and golf was always something that I loved. But I was either playing golf or baseball. I played 3 seasons of baseball. So either club ball team. We played in the PVA, which is local in town. We lived off of Desert End and Eastern, so I feel like I'm from Vegas, from the center of Vegas, right? And then I played golf tournaments, and then we played winter ball as well. So
you were playing in junior tournaments
all throughout.
All right.
So I played SNJGA events, which I really love the SNJGA, and Mr. Hawk is a great friend of mine. He's the president of the SNJGA, and everybody there does such a great job with the kids. We have collaborated with them a little bit. Me being a golfer in town, I really love giving back to the kids. So anything I can do for them, whether it's coaching or mentoring or just talking to them, going down the fairway, because I know how tough it is, right?
Sure.
Anytime I get that kind of an opportunity, I really enjoy doing that.
That's awesome. So you're playing competitively even before high school. Tell us about high school golf.
So I was really fortunate to have a great high school golf career, and my father we couldn't afford much, so he actually got a job at Desert Pines so I can practice there full time, hit balls and things like that. You remember, where you used to put the cards in the machine, and I used to have something like 1,300 balls, and I would try to hit that as quickly as I could. But what my dad was doing was he was grooming my swing on that range. And then I went to Desert Pines High School for 3 years. And, Desert Pines is a great high school. Love my blue, black, and silver guys. But, it was a tough neighborhood. And my dad was picking me up for a golf event one day, and he realized that there was going to be a fight between 2 neighboring.
Oh.
Yeah, so he thought that maybe that might not be the best way to nurture his son and his skills. So we moved to the Henderson area, and I transferred to Foothill High School.
For your senior year.
Yeah. So that was when we did his own variants. We did everything we could, and I chose Foothill, and thank God I did. I mean, what a great town. I love Henderson. I love being a part of Henderson. I was fortunate enough to win the state championship by myself.
Yeah, you buried the lead.
But, I was the first male state champion in Foothill High School history in 2007, and I'm really proud to hang a banner up there. Believe it or not, my daughter is going to be going to Foothill next year.
That's
so
fun. That's got to get you hit you right in the feels.
I'm welling up right now, but she was she's starting to test her father, and in fun ways. But I told her, I said, hey, Daddy's name is already in the gym. So
that's great.
I was pretty proud of that.
And we'll get to the kids. I didn't even know about the kids already being that old and playing.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. So out of high school, you won state championship.
Yep.
Obviously, you're going to go play college ball somewhere.
Well, I'm glad that I spoke about my kids, because Courtney, when I went to college, I went to Odessa College, and I'm proud to be a Wrangler, and I played for Coach Chavez up there.
Texas.
West Texas, baby. I mean, so I learned how to play in the wind. And I had lots of great teammates. In my first year, I averaged a 70.4 for the entire year. And believe it or not, I was the 5 guy on my team.
Wow.
It was just stacked full of studs. And, we didn't close the deal during the national championship, which was very disappointing to us. We were doing like these big media release days and all stuff like that. But, we just underperformed when the time, got down, that's where champions are made. But
does that still stick with you?
A lot.
Yeah,
There's a chip on my shoulder, But when I came back that first summer, I went and we had Courtney. And
so that's when you had your baby girl.
So losing the state or the national championship meant more to me as an athlete, because that's something that I can't get back. Starting my family, a lot of people think that that's a mistake, and it wasn't. I grew up with my daughter. She taught me everything. And, I have 4 beautiful children now. I'm so proud to be a dad. I chose to go the working path, so I did what everybody else did and chose golf. Working at golf courses like Stallion Mountain, where I worked for Walters Golf.
You worked all over town.
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you just run through them?
I worked for all the Walters golf courses back then, which was Stallion Mountain, Valley High, Royal Links, and Desert Pines. So those are the big 4. I obviously have a big following with Desert Pines because I grew up and I learned how to play golf there. So thank you for Mr. Walters for allowing me to use the properties for all those years. It really did help me, groom my game. And then once I kind of went through all of that and realized that, maybe I want to play a little bit, maybe I want to progress and to do something more, I started working at Shadow Creek. But that wasn't a choice. We were playing a Friday Skins game in Boulder City. And I shot something silly that day, like 63 or 64. And at the time, working in the golf industry, I didn't really have much money. So me winning a couple $100 during the Skins game was a big deal. But Monty was there. And
Monty Montgomery, by the way.
Yeah.
Taylor Montgomery's dad.
Yes.
Which actually, there's a story in there with my family. My grandfather, Joe Francis, actually taught Monty how to play golf. And then Monty ended up coming to Vegas to run Shadow Creek. And I worked at Shadow Creek 15 years before you did.
Yeah.
And we were joking about that, how we know all the same people because the regulars there
they don't leave.
Never leaving.
None of you guys.
You're going to die on the course. So shout out to you guys if you're watching.
What's up, guys? Yeah, but so Monty was there, and Monty is a very good golfer, and I don't know about you, but I'm not betting money on the golf course. So as a young man with not much money and had a couple $100 in my pocket from shooting a good number, I said, guys, you go play the E9. And Monty looked at me and he said, you're playing. And I figured when a guy like that tells me I'm playing. Yeah. So I ended up being on his team, and I think I birdied like the first 6 holes in the row on the back 9, or in the E9. And Monty and I made a little bit of money, and he had realized that when I was making those birdies that I was kind of in the zone. I didn't know that, but everybody was talking trash, and he thought that I held up well to that, and that was kind of his.
So he was impressed with it.
I don't know. I can't speak for him, but that was kind of my audition and how I got the bib, got to work at Shadow Creek, and anybody who's been to Shadow Creek just realizes it's perfect. And the reason why it's perfect is because there's just everybody at that golf course is picking up trash, they're picking up tees, they armor all everything. Monty does a great job of making sure the staff is ready, and that's one of his biggest pitches. You present yourself well. So I learned a lot from him. And, watching Taylor, he's a Foothill Falcon as well. I was the first male state champion, but he just came and just erased me from all the books and everything. Yeah, he won the state championship twice. And so that's off the record and or off the table for me of having any kind of clout at that school. But what a dominant feat, he is on the PGA Tour. And what I love about Taylor the most is he hasn't changed, not one bit, and he is just crushing it right now. He's making more putts than anybody, but
he's really playing well this year.
But it was crazy. I got to have a small moment with him when he was playing in the PGA Tour event here. Somehow we were walking from 9 green to 11 or to 10. You know that big long walk at TPC. and maybe I just beat the ropes or whatnot, but it was just Taylor and I when we were walking.
That's fun.
And I got to look at him and I said, man, how cool is this? You know, and for me, I would love to be inside the ropes and love to do those things. And we're progressing back into, you know, what I did after college golf was worked at Shadow Creek for 5 years, and then I was holding the rake in the middle of the 9 fairway one day, and a gentleman handed me his cigar. And you know Shadow Creek, that's not a bad thing. He was just saying, hey, I don't want to put this, you know, $50 cigar on the ground, Maddie, can you hold this? And I said, sure. So I'm holding his cigar and I'm holding this rake and I'm smelling the cigar, and it's just a beautiful cigar. And I'm saying, why am I not playing? Why am I watching this gentleman? He was the nicest man. Like, we had the greatest day. It was a single, you know, it was 2 hours single in the morning at 7, you know, that's like a caddy's dream, right? And I did well that day financially, but it just didn't feel like the right fit. So I started playing.
And you were playing, I know you played in our ProScratch multiple times.
I have. Don't look up the results, guys. I don't think I've done well, but I played with Nick.
That's a tough field.
Yeah, but I got to play with Nick Poloni. I know you know Nick. He
Yep.
was a longtime caddy at Shadow Creek, and you know he's what a heck of a golfer. So I felt like I drug him down, and I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. But what a great event you guys run with the ProScratch. I love doing that. For me, as a starving professional, that was a great way to showcase my talents and make a little bit of money, you know, during the middle of the year, and have a little bit of fun with my friends. So it was a great relief from kind of banging your head against the wall, doing mini tour golf, and trying to hit Monday qualify and
that's
things
where
like
you
that.
were getting, but we hadn't even got to it. So
Yeah.
you decide to stop caddying, and you want to play. Then what happens?
So I had some great people in my life, and I was fortunate enough to join South Shore Country Club. And while I was doing that, I put together a team of investors, and they all believe in me. Thank you so much. I love all you guys. Thank you for giving me all the opportunities. But I started playing golf, and in that interim, I'm a bigger guy, right? So you got to get in the gym, and I was going to the gym every day, and I was doing my workouts, and I was playing golf every day, and traveling, and all those things, and had a fairly good start, and went to Georgia. And I went down early. I met with the great friends of mine in Georgia. Hey, guys, love you guys. The Andrews family, thanks for letting me stay with you. We drove down, and we played at their country club, and then we went to, you know, where the hosting tournament was for the Monday qualifier. Well, warmed up great that day. It was a really wet day. Bought new golf shoes, you know, and then I got to the top of my swing on hole 4, and it felt like a nail went up, you know, my right leg.
Oh, so you injured yourself.
Yeah, and so I nearly tore fully my peroneal tendon on my right side, which I guess is the way you stabilize your right side. I don't know much about it, but the doctor told me if you would have broken it all the way, and it was like within fractions of doing that he would have had to teach me how to walk again, which is pretty scary. And my investor was sitting there with me, and I completely understand. He's like, Matt, you need to take care of yourself. This is more important than golf. Come back when you're ready. So that's kind of really why I stepped away from the game, because I retired, because it hurt. You know, golf hurts anyways. I think we're all hurt. I'm sure you hurt after a 36-hole day or whatnot. But, you know, golf is really a taxing sport on your body. And if you don't take care of your body, kids, this is what could happen.
Your knees and your back.
But really, it's been the perfect storm, because when I was doing that, I traveled with a great friend of mine. His name is Gipper Finau, and I'm sure you've heard of his brother, Tony. Tony's done a great job of being such a force on the PGA Tour. I mean, I have great friends, right?
Yeah.
You know, we grew up together playing golf, and Gipper and I met in Dixie Red Hills in St. George. The way that he tells the story is he saw me warming up on the range, and he's walking up with his mom, and he said, Mom, look, there's another guy just like me. And we're talking because, you know, in Utah, it's a predominantly white sport. And remember, back then, golf was still kind of in the growing phases. It wasn't cool to play golf like it is now.
Right.
You know, I was made fun of for playing golf and wearing my white golf shirt with the khaki shorts at school, right?
Yeah.
So now that it's kind of this different game where people are sending you stuff, and like you wear a different swag and you're doing all this, it's a different, you know, avenue.
That's part of the reason for this show. Is golf has changed so much, and
exactly.
the new wave that's coming in is exciting. And you know, I'm not a purist, even though I've spent my life and I'm a third generation golfer.
Yeah.
I'm not a purist, and I want to embrace and get into shortening golf, even breaking down the old taboos, making it more accessible.
Absolutely.
And obviously that can't happen because there's tradition and it is the greatest game. But yeah, and I know that we're about to get into why you're here.
Yeah.
And so now that you're kind of introducing that, what happens when you start meeting with him and you guys start coming up with what you're going to do next?
So really, during this time when Gipper and I were traveling, we looked at each other when we were in the rental car and on the road because we spent a lot of time together. We woke up early, drove through late nights, did all those things that a starving tour pro would try to do to try to get to the tour. And we're sitting there thinking, man, this would be pretty good, to vlog this stuff. And this is before any of this, right? Like all of this internet craze is new to me. I'm 33 years old. It's not like I'm an older gent, but
Right.
excuse me. So we said, hey, we should do a YouTube channel. I'm sure if you look hard enough, you can find it. I think it's called Gip and Matt.
Yeah.
And it was just us kind of messing around. But
and when is this roughly?
it's not fair. In the 2010 maybe.
Oh, so it's a while ago.
Yeah, I mean,
so you guys have been working together quite a
well.
while.
I mean, I've known Gipper all my life since we were kids, junior golf, and ever since he told his mom, hey, that he's like me, we've always just kind of known each other. We've always been around each other. Obviously, Gipper and Tony have done a tremendous job. They were like sponsored by Callaway by the time they were 16, 17 years old, giving great opportunities, actually earned great opportunities,
Sure.
through working hard and digging in the dirt. I've learned so much from them, just being around how they interact with people in Utah, how business owners, when they walk in, they're just so gracious to everybody. And it's great to be around. It really is.
That's awesome. So what are you guys doing now?
So now we started a group. There's myself, there's Junior Kaleopa, I'm sorry, Kaleopa, and then Gipper Finau, and we are Against the Grain 3. And the reason why we chose Against the Grain is exactly what we're talking about. You're a purist. I'm a purist. I take the pin out, right?
Right.
I don't, when someone's putting, I feel like that's the time where you could be quiet. If someone's hitting a tee shot, if you want to, jiggle the bag a little bit that's gamesmanship, right? I'm a purist as well to a lot of those things, but Against the Grain means we're three guys that, I broke my body out there, doing it. So I'm a retired golfer, but
Right.
I can still move it a little bit. I can still play, and I can still shoot under par, right? Gipper is doing a lot of things, and we actually just announced it. I think Gipper is going to be doing some long drive.
Oh wow.
So the fact that he is still such a phenomenal player, but such an impactful player, people know who he is. So when he goes into a sport like long drive, I think he's going to shine and do a very good job. There's talks that we're going to be working with a larger club manufacturer as our team. Obviously, Gipper and the driver is their main, concern. But I think once they see Junior and I hit the golf ball, I think they're going to be a little pleased with that. But I look forward to that relationship potentially. I only started this Instagram at Big Mac Golf in December. And I really did that because my great friends, they had a YouTube golf channel called the Godfathers.
Yeah, we're the Godfathers. You're on our list. You guys are coming in. If I have something to say about it.
Yeah, they're in Arizona right now doing the big tournament. But they were looking for another idea, and I have Gipper. I don't have Gipper. Gipper's my friend, but I feel like I can call my buddy and say, hey, we're playing golf in Vegas. You should get down here, and that's basically what happened. And
I've seen those clips of them playing with him, and they're great.
Yeah, and their team did a great job with editing all that, and really all we had to do was show up, eat breakfast, and go play golf and change between the nines. But it was a fun experience. But what that did was it opened my eyes to the opportunities of golf, because you have these good guys. You have Bob Does Sports and what they're doing. You have the Godfathers. You have a bunch of these other teams. But none of these guys are good golfers. None of these guys are like me and you that have played the skins game for the last 15 years, that have done these things, that have played in tournaments, that know what it feels like to miss a putt in front of all your friends that matter.
Right.
These are very talented human beings, but they're more actors. I want to bring the authenticity to the game. I want to bring Gipper and I. We know what it feels like, to have a pressed putt on the last hole. And you know what? It might be a little match between me and you, but it means something, right? Yeah. So that's what we want to bring to that. And I think that the marketability of that is going to change, because now you have a golfer, not someone who golfs. You have a golfer. And I'm not trying to separate us and say we're better, we're not. This is just who I am. This is what I'm capable of. I'm not an actor. I'm not somebody who just enjoys the game of golf. one of my favorite questions to ask people is, why do you play golf? I was good at it from a young age, so I just kept playing. I never thought, I love this game, I want to learn how to play this game. I don't want to go through the terror of learning how to play this game. You know, it's impossible. So I just don't understand how people fall in love with that. For me, I love the game because it's competitive. I love the game because it makes you honest, and it builds your character. It brings you together with community. All of the things that I love. So that's what we want to bring to the Golf Channel. We want to be more marketable. We want to be there for the companies. My favorite thing to ask people is, how can I help your company? What do you know, because they contact me. Well, what can I do? What was your thought? And they're floored by that. And I just do it. You really, you know, there's no marketing crazy genius in me. I just ask simple questions, and then I go out there and perform that shot.
So let's drop a couple of those tags again. At Against the Grain 3.
At Against the Grain 3.
At Big Mac Golf.
At Big Mac Golf.
And then I remember you talking when we were talking last week about some mental health things you guys are doing. Tell me about that. I'm really excited about that.
So that's where we get to highlight Junior. So Gipper and I are the golfers, right? But Junior, he started his Instagram very recently as well. But he has had so much success. I don't want to, actually, if I may, I'll pull up the real numbers, but I'll keep speaking of him.
No, and I can talk while you pull it up.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been kicking around is working mental health into the show.
Yes.
And just because it's important to me specifically, and I think it's important to raise awareness. And the fact that you guys are kind of mixing it up with Fridays and golf, I'm tickled to hear about it.
So Junior has just a touch over 47,000 followers, and he is doing that through comedic relief and mental health. We have started two lives. One is on Mondays, 8 p.m. Las Vegas time. Don't ask me what all that's, standard time is, please. It's Las Vegas time. And then Friday is the same thing, 8 p.m. Las Vegas time. So from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., we jump on. And the idea is therapy is expensive. And, Gipper and I and Junior are guys. And so the reason why we think that's important is we don't find too many avenues where guys are talking about their feelings online.
Right.
And we have a golf channel. I have nothing to do with mental health, right? So the fact that we're talking about it makes it a little bit easier for other people to come in.
Yeah.
And we've had 2 success stories, in my opinion. There was a gentleman that came on our live, and he's feeding all of the schools in his area. Because I didn't know this, but in Utah, if a student goes past a certain amount on their bill, they won't feed them. So, wow. And these bills are less than $1,500, maybe $2,000 for the whole school, right? So he comes in and writes a check and says, boom. And this isn't a well-to-do human being. This is somebody who works hard and has all of his friends give $20, and then they go in and bring pizzas to the kids, and he comes in a really nice suit. The principal, and he's not doing it for the fame, but they give him the right. floor a little bit, and his message to the kids is just keep trying.
Yeah.
I'm just a normal guy, and he says that I've never seen anybody like me do this for anybody else. And, so that was impactful for me. So, and all I had to do was jump on a live for an hour, right? And, the second week that I participated, a gentleman came on and told us about his son, and his son has autism and the challenges that came with that. And he really opened up, and he actually, got emotional on screen. He FaceTimed with us in front of everybody. And, he said, guys, I've never done that before. Thank you. And he getting those messages afterwards were so rewarding. Right. And, he has a bounce house business. So we posted his bounce house business on our page, and maybe he gets one customer, maybe he doesn't, but that's what we're trying to do.
Sure. It's all about community, and that's what we're trying to embrace and be about here. So
absolutely.
That's awesome. We're going to let you do a shameless plug for your tournament that you're running
absolutely.
At a competitor golf course.
Yeah, so and really we would love to do this for you guys as well.
Yeah, we're going to book one.
Yeah, so on April 1st we're running a golf tournament at Chimera Golf Course. We're calling it the Show Out, the Chimera Golf Course Show Out. And the reason why we're calling it a Show Out is we're going to run a member guest style tournament. we realized that not everybody's played in a member guest. I have a great friend that allows me to play in his, so I know what they feel like. I play at Red Rock Country Club, and what a great job they do with their member guests. Oh my gosh, I circle that date every year.
Well, that's great. And we definitely love that you're raising money for junior golf.
Yes.
We think that's important.
Absolutely.
I think, well, actually, really fast, before we get to the last segment and the 5 questions, we didn't really talk about your kids much and golf.
Yep.
I'm definitely interested in how you're introducing them to the game, how that's been like.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you know anything about me, my kids are they're the best part of my life. The company that I own, I own a franchise called PermaTreat. My LLC is named after my children. It's CMMA. So it's Courtney, my oldest, Miley, my second oldest, Maxwell is my oldest boy, and then Ace is my youngest boy. So CMMA LLC is what I do. I put CMMA on everything. They own parts of my business, so everything is for them. My kids have blessed me with the ability to not want to play golf as much as their dad did. Courtney is going into Foothill High School, and she's starting the too cool for school thing. But I'm so proud of her and the young woman she's becoming. Gosh, I've learned so much from her. Miley is growing into her own as well. Such a smart, she's so reserved. And I don't contain that, so I respect that out of her. She knows when to speak, she knows when to say something, and she's funny because of it.
Yeah.
Max is our Mad Max. He's running around like crazy, and but just the smartest kid. I mean, I hand him my phone sometimes to teach me how to do things, and he's 9, right?
Yep.
So. He loves technology. He loves playing, running outside. Swings the golf club really hard, but doesn't have the desire that I have quite yet. But Ace is the youngest of the 4, and definitely the ringleader. If something breaks or crashes or booms, he's either near the scene or pointing at the person that did it because he talked him into it, right? But he is the look at me kid. I wonder where he gets it from.
I know one of those.
Yeah, and he doesn't do something unless you're looking. I mean, if you want him to hit a shot, everybody's got to look, and But he's embracing that, so he might be the more of the golfer, but I could be wrong. Those other 3 might pick up the clubs, and the beauty of it is I know that whatever they want to do is I'll be able to support them as far as golf because I've given my life to this game, but I'm looking forward to see what they want to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to bring us to the last segment of the show that is the same for all of our guests. We call it the Par 5. And we're going to run the same 5 questions every week. Yeah. So are you ready, Matt?
I got my cheat sheet, so I am ready. I am ready.
Right. So you know the questions ahead of time.
Yeah.
What's your favorite golf movie?
There's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here, I like The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Yep.
And I don't like it, I love it. And,
why?
And the reason why is that movie represents a lot more than just a golf movie, right? To me, it represents that you can really do anything if you have the ability, right? Because he had the ability, came off the couch, kind of a drunk, all that stuff like that. But all he had to do was believe in himself. And I've been asked the question, what was it that helped you? And believing in myself was number 1. I mean, a lot of people can't do that. They say, I can do this. No matter what, I can't fail. So I think that belief in himself that Will Smith brought to him, during that was really what pushed him over and gave him the courage to get past that. And really what we're doing with mental health is a huge, balance with that. So that's why I like that movie.
It reminds me of one of my favorite exchanges in a movie called Blow with Johnny Depp and Ray Liotta. And he's telling him how he got wrapped up in the drug cartel. Yeah. And he says, Dad, I was good at it. Yeah. And his dad says, you would have been good at anything.
Yep.
You would have been good at anything.
Yeah.
And it's like goosebumps.
Yeah, right. I mean, how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, and really when I talk to these high school kids, these junior golfers, and, I get the opportunity to do that, right? And just because I got to play this game and, but when I get inside the ropes with them, I don't talk to them about golf. It's everything else. And I think that's what calms them down. And it's just a little smile. So if you can clear your head for that 2 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever that is, I think that you're going to be a better golfer. I think that if you become a better person because you have the ability to do that, take a breath and do that. So that's, there's a lot of ties to that.
Question number 2, your second shot. What's your favorite club in your bag and why?
Oh, for me, it's easy because it's the only club I hit straight is my driver. So
if you hit your driver straight, it's got to be your favorite club.
I don't putt my putter straight, but I can hit my driver straight. We talked about it, me playing baseball. I still love baseball. The Aviators is my favorite team here in town. I love going to those games. There's nothing cooler than hitting the driver down the middle.
So are you collecting drivers? Do you have one that you or one model you keep exchanging for?
That's where I kind of go old school. I was actually sponsored by Ping throughout my junior golf career, and I had the same club sent to me over and over. Yeah. I would get new irons every 6 months and new wedges every month, week, and new drivers whenever it just didn't quite look right. But really the driver to me is something that once you get that thing to listen, you let it sit there. And I learned that from another great local here is Craig Barlow.
Sure.
Craig's got the same old beat up driver that he's had forever, and then he hits it past you. You're like, what did I buy this thing for? So and he says because it listens. And hopefully I'm not misquoting you, Craig, but because it listens. And the guy made over 150 cuts on the PGA Tour. I think he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So
okay, question number 3. If you could put together your dream foursome to play in, so you get 3 options, alive or dead, who would you want to play golf with?
So this is where it's unfair.
Well, it's hard to pick 3.
Yeah. So I'm going to cop out a little bit, but I'm going to give you specific answers as well. So my first cop out is the first 2 people are either going to be from my family, so a Nolasco or my family or relative. I'm going to choose my Uncle Johnny. My Uncle Johnny passed away in December of cancer. It was one of the most difficult things that I've done in my life, and having one more round of golf with him would be great. But if I could have any of my family members come and play, whether it be one of my kids or somebody like that, they're always welcome in my dream foursome. Yep. The second spot in that foursome is just as important to me and really should be in the first column of family, but it's anybody in the Wyson family. Joe Wyson is definitely going to be in my dream foursome. Hey, Joe. Joe is my T-ball coach. And Joe watched me progress into life, and one of my biggest supporters, I'm getting a little choked up, but one of my biggest supporters, and I couldn't do anything without him.
So impactful.
And, a huge member of my life, and everything that we've done together has been a learning experience for me, and I watched him progress and his family progress, him and his wife. They built such an incredible company. It's called J&J Enterprises. They did it from nothing, and they did it from the sweat of their brow, and what a true American story of just how to get it out of the ground.
Oh, that's
and they're just a big part of the community. They love helping, and they're going to possibly be a sponsor in our event on April 1st.
Right.
But that's the type of people they are. They don't need to see anything. They don't need to see results. They just believed in me, right? And that's why Joe, I'll play golf with him any day. His son Tim is a great friend of mine as well. He's a big brother to me. Every time we get on the golf course, gosh, if I miss a putt or something like that, Tim's on my quarters, but that's Tim, and he's the most honest person I know, and he's welcome in my dream foursome just like the rest of them. But any Wyson can play golf with me, with my family any day. Definitely spot number 2 on my list. But
we're going to need to put together like 4 foursomes.
I need a whole tournament.
What's your third? Because you've given me a lot.
My third, I'm not going to cop out. There's one gentleman that comes to mind, and I'd love to play golf with him. I call him someone that I look up to and that I get to text every once in a while, and he texts me back, but it's George Lopez. I met him at Shadow Creek. Yes, comedian. And the reason why George, I would pick him is there's no acting with him. He's that funny. And I've never met somebody that literally made my mom laugh, my grandma laugh, me laugh, and my, generational.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's ease. It's ease to him. And my cheeks hurt after being around the guy for too long because it's one after another after another.
Did you meet him on a loop at Shadow Creek?
A loop at Shadow Creek. I got lucky one day, and he just kind of kept me with him for 5 years. Actually, 3 years.
So was that your favorite loop? I get asked that sometimes. And I got to loop with Julius Irving, Dr. J.
Dr. J is a sweetheart, by the way.
That was probably the coolest one for me. He was the nicest guy.
Yeah.
He played with Jim Gray who is not.
Yeah.
Jim Gray is not a nice person.
Really?
Jim
Didn't
Gray,
know that.
If you watch this, and they played together.
Maybe,
so,
maybe it was a bad day.
Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, it's all right. We love you, buddy. You know what? Shadow Creek, the reason why that question's hard, and let me help you, is everybody's great. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of people. My favorite loop at Shadow Creek, and actually has Dr. J in it. So Steve Gillette, and you know, hopefully you're okay with me saying your name, Big Steve. But he's a business owner from Calgary. He runs tournaments just like I do in August, and I'm supposed to go play your tournament, Steve. I know. I'm getting my passport together. And he raises money for kids as well. Every year, his pub and his catering business raise money for the kids, and it's well over, I believe, $10,000 a year that he generates and he writes a check and he gives it right back to him, right? But when he came, his favorite dealer, and mind you, he's a high roller, is in the main pit. And he brought his dealer to Shadow Creek because she was retiring, I believe. Jeannie, how's it going, Jeannie? I got the pictures to prove it, guys. And we were playing. Well, Dr. J was in the group ahead of us. And we got to, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the par 3?
Yep.
You know how you come down the hill and back around?
Got it. Yep.
Well, Doc was there at the white tees, you know, the 130 tee, and we were pulling up to hit there too. And Jeannie was a dealer at the MGM. Not really an everyday experience for her, but we'd seen, him around, and we give him a space and things like that. And she looked at me and started crying. I felt like it was a special day, and, I figured, you don't do this at Shadow Creek. You don't bring guests to other guests. You don't, but right. I said, I went to the other caddy and I said, hey, do you think it might be okay if they took a picture? And he jumped out of the cart and answered the question.
That's awesome.
And said, I would love to. And she, the way that he embraced her, I mean, he's huge, right? And she was, the normal size woman, but she gave him a hug, and it looked like they were hugging during this picture, like they'd been family forever. And for him to do that to a complete stranger at Shadow Creek that's incredible to me. Nice. So that was my favorite loop that day. And Steve, you're my favorite guy always. Love you, buddy.
Cool. All right, question number 4, the fourth shot. What's your aiming fluid? If you're out on the course, what are you drinking? All right. I think this is a layup for me. Is great. So go ahead and do your pitch.
Well, we all know about 4 Wellness Coffee, Phil Mickelson's coffee, and what they've done is they've made a coffee and an additive. It's called the Good Stuff. You put it in there, and it helps with everything, guys. There's so many things that it helps with. I can't even list them, but I drink it every day. It has helped me with my joints. It has made me less jittery. You know how coffee makes you jittery? Well, Phil wanted to drink coffee as well. He didn't want to jitter, so he created the golfer's version of coffee. And I'm an ambassador for them now.
Yeah,
my discount code is Matt, M as in Mary, ATT, 25, the number 25, off. Matt, 25 off. That will give you 25% off of your first order. That's more of a discount than you can find anywhere. I'm really grateful that they did that for me. And really, it's the same amount of money that it would be at the store, but you're buying it direct. Yeah. And it's shipping to your house like everything else is. And I wouldn't do this if I didn't like it, and I really like it.
That's awesome. Now tell me what you're drinking on the golf course.
I really do drink that, but as well as I'm a big water guy. Yep. Being a big guy, if I don't drink 4 or 5 bottles of water at least a tournament, I cramp up. Between that and that is helping me with my electrolytes as well, but I also have some sort of electrolyte drink, whether it's a Pedialyte or a Gatorade. But between those 3 things, a coffee, a water, or a Gatorade, that's what I've drank my entire career, my entire life. I have a little bit of OCD, so a lot of guys are drinking out there. When I do drink, I have a Crown Royal and Diet Coke. I learned how to drink that in college. West Texas, Crown Royal was more of a readily available drink. Sure. And not that I was drinking in college, Mom, but that's what they were doing then. And when I got old enough, I wanted to act like the guys in Texas because I really liked all those guys. That's those are my aiming fluids.
Awesome. Question number 5, the last shot, and potentially the time where we're no longer PG rated. We're going to ask you, I know you hit your driver straight all the time.
Yeah.
What if you get out there and you can't hit it straight? What are you saying to yourself? How do you beat yourself up?
So I realized that cursing if I had ever got the opportunity to play on the PGA Tour, could be a potential find. So I wanted to kick that out of my system.
Smart. So you worked out at a young age not to swear.
Well, I do it a lot, but I use my first and my middle name because that's what my mom called me when I got in trouble. So it kind of triggers me back to the same thing. It's Matthew James. And so, you know, if I'm posing and you hear Matthew James out of my mouth, it's not good. But the secondary one that we've really developed this with Coach Paul DeSantis and a great friend of mine, Andrew Hawk, who's
created a word.
Created it in it's Coach's word. It's frick, Frick, and the way that you say it is like the way Andrew says it. It's frick. You know, because he adds like the dude version to it, because he's a cool college kid, right? But frack, you know, so, or you could say your different variations of it, but that's where it started.
And you know what you're saying, so that's good.
Exactly. And it really, you know, you mean the other word, but you're polishing it up and putting the I in there instead of the other great stuff.
We always get good answers about that, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a great time.
That's it
for
this episode. We're going to try to drop all of Matt's contact information again, but please go back to that spot and figure out where you can find him at. Against the Grain, Big Matt Golf. Yeah, and maybe a golf tournament here in the future. I mean, maybe we might do that. Yeah, so thank you again. Like, subscribe, and until next time, hit 'em straight.
Let's go.
Friends at Angel Park Golf Club. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.